heard that booing noise? It's called a pant hoot. Can you guys say that with me? Pant hoot. To communicate that, hey, they're really excited because lunch is on the way. So because of that pant hoot, it lets everybody in here know that lunch is coming pretty soon. And so some of our other chimpanzees are going to be joining the group down here on this side of the habitat. You might see there is some food left over from breakfast in here. Did anyone see what the chimpanzees got for breakfast today? Carrots. Who here likes carrots? Yeah, they're like candy vegetable, right? They're the best. I do see a couple of our little ones over here with some, looks like banana leaves too. So that can be not just food for them, they might actually use them to play with. And we call that enrichment, behavioral enrichment, or BE. And enrichment basically just means all kinds of different fun things that we include for the animals to kind of play with and to try to invoke some natural behaviors. What other things do you see in this exhibit that kind of look like something to play with, some kind of enrichment? What do you see? Yeah? A lot of leaves? Yeah, what else? Yeah? The tree log. And do you notice there's holes in the tree log? Keepers will hide different treats in those holes. So the chimpanzees have to get it out, yeah? Onions? Do they eat onions? Yeah, even they'll eat an onion like an apple. Yeah. They also love green onions. Oh, here we go. Someone's getting a ride. Not a great behavior today. Even the termite mounds, those little mountains behind the palm trees, are fake termite mounds. In the wild, chimpanzees will eat termites, and so they'll even use sticks and to get maybe like oatmeal or peanut butter out of the termite mound. All right, looks like our keeper Matt is up there. And so the chimpanzees are going to come on over, and let's see what the chimpanzees get for lunch today. What are they going to get? Let's see. What does he get? What is he doing? Apple. Yeah. Almost caught it. Just put Gracie on the jogging, right?
I can't see.
All right, so what do chimpanzees really like to eat? So we're seeing them eat carrots and apples. Do you think they really like their vegetables? Do they really like their fruits? What's it called if you eat you eat mostly fruits and vegetables? If you eat plants, what's that called? Just shout it out. Vegetarian or vegan, yeah. In the animal world, we call it something else, starts with an H. Herbivore. Any herbivores in the audience today? No? Okay, a couple, maybe. What about if you're an animal and you only eat other animals? What's that called? Carnivore. Any carnivores in the audience? Yeah, we always get a few. Yeah. But if you eat both, if you eat everything, what's that called? Omnivore. The seafood diet, you see food, you eat it, right? Right? And so a lot of humans tend to be omnivores, and chimpanzees are omnivores too. We're going to see them mostly getting fruits and vegetables, or even, did you guys see that biscuit that I don't want to talk over you, if you have something to say. All right. So they also get those biscuits, and that's a really good source of protein. I was calling it a chimpanzee biscuit, but a lot of animals here at the zoo get those biscuits, and a lot of times those biscuits get called monkey chow. But as an education specialist here at Chimp Chat, I don't want to call it monkey chow. Why do you think I wouldn't want to call it that? Because chimpanzees aren't monkeys, that's right. They're not monkeys. Monkeys have something that chimpanzees don't have. And what you have to look for, where do you look? You gotta look on their butt, yeah. Yeah, zoologists, we look at a lot of animal butts. So you gotta look at their butt, and the chimpanzees do not have a tail. So they are part of the ape family. It's not as fun to say as monkey. I think we like to call them monkeys, but monkeys have tails. Did anyone see the gorillas yet today? Did you look at their butt? Did they have a tail? No, also part of the ape family. What about orangutans? Oh, also no tail. What about Curious George? Ever read a Curious George book? Does he have a tail? You might want to Google it. Make sure. You think so? You might want to look that one up. You might be surprised. So yeah, so there's a bit of a difference between a monkey and apes, especially our chimpanzees. They actually spend a lot of time on the ground of the forest. They can climb trees, but you'll notice they have a lot of ground area, a lot of rocks, and it's actually really important that the way our exhibit, the way this habitat is designed, is that they can even look at us and think of us as apes, as primates, because we are. But we don't want them to feel threatened. So notice you guys are kind of sitting up high. Some of you are sitting up high, some of you are down low. And then if you look, this exhibit also mirrors that. They can get up high, they can get above us if they want, or they could be below us. So we give them those options for how they want to interact with humans. You'll also notice that we're kind of broken up. We have this viewing area and we have another viewing area over there, but there's space in between where there aren't any humans, and that actually makes the chimpanzees, it kind of gives the illusion that they're surrounding us, not vice versa. So they don't feel threatened, they don't feel surrounded. That's called affiliative design. So it's pretty cool that we keep their psychology in mind when we take care of them. And this is actually one of the world-renowned chimpanzees exhibit. Even Jane Goodall has said that we have one of the best chimpanzees habitats in zoos. So that's pretty cool. And we have 17 chimpanzees here. That's so many, 17 chimpanzees. And they have this area that's pretty naturalistic, but we do also have a kind of a jungle gym for them. Up there, they have the penthouse, and that's got some extra kinds of enrichment like tire swings. They have fire hoses that act as vines, repurposed fire hoses. So they have lots of different fun play areas to hang out in as well. So they get a very dynamic habitat, a definite choice when it comes to where they want to hang out. So that's pretty cool. And so we get to see a lot of natural behavior here. And we saw some of that with like Jake playing around with one of our youngsters earlier. And we see how they interact with the keepers. Ooh, what are they getting now? What's that? That's right. Like a pepper, maybe? A bell pepper? Yeah. Getting some good veggies, huh? Ooh, what's that? Ooh, that looks delicious. Oranges. Now, you know, they have to be really careful when they're feeding some of the fruit. No, oranges and apples, it's actually, our human fruit is kind of high in sugar compared to wild fruit. Wild fruit would be more like a carrot for us. Our carrots are more like wild fruit. So they get a lot of carrots, a lot of onions, a lot of veggies, but only some of the chimpanzees are going to get the fruit because they can actually get really high blood glucose levels. And what is that called? That can lead to a disease, even in humans, right? Diabetes. Yeah, some humans have diabetes and they get treatment for it that helps them digest that glucose. They get treated with insulin. And we actually have a chimpanzee in here named Nan. I'm looking for her. I think she's over against the wall over here. And she actually has diabetes. So she gets a treatment every day. She gets an insulin injection. And it doesn't sound like that would be really fun, does it? Who wants to go and get a shot every day? Oh, Nan does. She loves getting her insulin injection because when she does, she gets a special treat. Peanut butter. Yes. Yeah, so, but we do have to be careful about what she gets. So if she does get an orange, like maybe the keepers don't throw it to her, but maybe her son Glenn gives her an orange. He's really nice to her. He might give her his food. So we have to just keep that in mind so that we know to keep an eye on her blood glucose levels. Somebody's showing off over here. Yeah. Other natural natural behaviors that we see, especially from the youngsters, you see a lot of play, a lot of goofing around. They'll steal things from each other, they'll bop each other on the head, and you know what? The youngsters get away with that. One of the reasons is because that's how they learn, but the grown-ups go easy on them. You can tell who the youngsters are because they're much pinker in the face. They have pinker faces, pinker ears, and that lets everybody in the group know, hey, I'm a juvenile, don't be so hard on me. Okay, I get to get away with stuff. I get to break the rules and be okay with it. Until they, you know, hit puberty and start growing up, they're gonna lose that pinkness, and then they're gonna really have to follow the rules or they're gonna get in trouble, okay? So all of our juveniles right now are still pretty pink. They're all, I think our oldest is 6 years old, so she's kind of coming into what we might consider like a teenager for a chimpanzee. She's kind of transitioning. She's in this awkward spot between juvenile and adult. But we do see a lot of play behavior from the youngsters because they can, because they get away with it. Another natural behavior that we see a lot here is grooming. Grooming, what does that look like when the chimpanzees groom each other? Yeah, they're going through each other's fur, right? And yeah, maybe they're looking for a little extra snack on each other's fur. But it's actually really important that they go through and have that important touching, because that is very appeasing and it establishes really important social bonds within our chimpanzee troop. So it's almost like, do you like getting your hair played with, or maybe getting a massage, right? You know, it's how, like, as youngsters, you know, even us humans, we might, after a long day of being at the zoo, give our parents a foot massage, right? To make them feel nice, right? That's what we do? No? That's just my family? Okay, all right then. But we do offer massages to our loved ones. We'll like rub our hands down their backs or on their shoulders, and that's actually part of the social dynamic with our chimpanzees. When they're grooming each other, they're actually appeasing and kind of establishing those really important social bonds. So you'll actually see that, and it's a really nice, it might not even be two genetically related chimpanzees, but they're all part of the same family. So you'll see who's grooming who, and some of the people that work here, like obviously the keepers, but even some guests get to learn the chimpanzees and get to know those very important social dynamics. You know what, you guys, did you know that by being here at the Los Angeles Zoo today, you are helping the chimpanzees, and not just our chimpanzees, but the chimpanzees in the wild as well. Did you know that they're endangered, but there are people out there trying to help them, including an organization called the Pan-African Sanctuary Alliance. And by being here at the Los Angeles Zoo, you're helping to support our efforts to support the Pan-African Sanctuary Alliance. So you guys, just by being here, are having fun while helping out the chimpanzees in Africa. How cool is that? Right? Yeah, that's a good way to do conservation, right? Come and visit the zoo. So good job, you guys. Before you guys go, I do want to kind of make sure that maybe, even though we had so much fun during Chimp Chat today, maybe you learned a thing or two. So if you wouldn't mind just kind of pledging with me to continue that knowledge in the future, I want you to just raise your right hand and repeat after me. Okay? I promise to never call a chimpanzee a monkey. And I promise that when I get home today, I will rub my parents' feet. No? No one ever finishes that. Yeah, all right. Well, again, my name is Molly. Thank you guys so much for coming out today and helping to save our chimpanzees. And if you do want to smell that chimpanzee biscuit, not monkey chow, if you want to smell that, come on up here and you can tell me what you think it smells like, okay? All right. Bye, guys.
Do you guys want to smell?
Thanks, Molly.
You're welcome. This is a chimpanzee biscuit. Monkey chow. A lot of the animals here at the zoo will eat this. It's part of their diet. This one's a plant one, so it's probably a lot of soy and starch. So it's a lot of plant protein. Yeah, what's your question? Ooh, that's a really great question. You know what? We actually look at their butts again. So this is Nam right here. This is one of our oldest species today. What we can tell is if she turned around, the females have pink bottoms and the males have black bottoms. So that's really how we can tell them apart. Also, we see them. Tell her thank you, Brasky. Also, these are a lot of ladies. So this is Gracie and Regina coming along. So these are all of our ladies. They're a little bit smaller, a little less hairy than some of our boys.
So there's only one male?
No, we have 7 males. Yeah.
They don't fight for like dominance?
They, you know, yeah, sometimes we'll get arguments, but they tend to work things out within their social dynamic. If it escalated like really badly, they all know their names, and so the keepers could try to like call like Gerard, you know, and he might come and they could separate him or whatever.
Has that ever happened, Ryan?
Yeah, it happens. Like every once in a while, you know, there could be like a resource or a female or some reason why they might engage in a battle that gets a little, you know, out of hand. But it's we tend to not want to separate them for long periods of time because it's almost more dangerous for them to be separated and then try to go back.